You guys, I don't know why this goes blurry. I don't know what setting I pushed. Anyways, hi. I wanted to pop in here because in my little Q&A box that I put up yesterday, I was just asking you guys what you want to hear from me. You know, I think we all get into these places in our businesses where we're like, I've taught a lot of the things for a lot of years, and I don't know if you guys still want to hear me speaking. Do you still want to hear what I have to say? Do you feel like I've repeated myself 1 bajillion times, or is it maybe just me? So I'm gonna let you guys hop in. I'm gonna talk today about that secret sauce that truly makes you successful in dōTERRA. And this is going to be totally business focused. So if you're here for oil tips, if you're not here for business stuff, this may not be the live you want to hang out with me on, or maybe you're curious. Regardless, I talked about this at Tiffany Peterson's Heart and Hustle. So if you're there, this might be a little repetitive, but I think it's an important message, and I think it's if I could pass down anything to my team or to any of you guys to understand how to create success in dōTERRA, this is how I've done it. Most of you guys, sorry, my dogs are barking. Most of you guys who are building a dōTERRA business, you get trained a certain way in this business, and the fundamentals of this business will never change. Okay, so the fundamentals are always use your oils. Use your damn oils. If you are not being a product of the product, if your house doesn't look like dōTERRA exploded everywhere, you might need to hone that in a little bit more. That's probably the number one way that I see people kind of fall off the wagon with doing dōTERRA as a business, is because they're not actually a product of the product. So it's really hard to talk to people about something that you're so passionate about when you're not so passionate about it, truly. And that's why it just fizzles out. I personally probably use like 40 to 50 dōTERRA products throughout my day. And it's not an overusage. It's just like between showering and washing my face and supplementing my body and drinking my water and managing my emotions and hydrating my skin. All of those things have to do with dōTERRA because our products are phenomenal. And so when I'm out and about and I'm chatting with somebody about oils or about things, it's so easy and organic for me to have that conversation because it's truly how I live my lifestyle. So I think that if you're struggling with, you know, feeling like, oh, I'm being too salesy or too pushy, no, you're not in love with your products enough. Ugh, I know that's kind of a mic drop moment, but it's true, right? Yeah. So bottom line is you gotta keep being a student of these oils, keep wanting to learn more. I mean, coming home from convention, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have so many new things to learn about. And I'm excited and I love it. And I think that dōTERRA does such a phenomenal job of keeping our focus where it needs to be as a company, and they give us awesome products. Like this convention kit blows all other convention kits out of the water. They nailed it on every single aspect because every single person is dealing with some type of inflammation or some type of anxiety or stress. So I think that every body can benefit from most of the products that dōTERRA launched at convention. So anyways, my point is that fundamental will never change. You have got to use your oils. You have got to love your oils. Now, if you're introverted and you're like, I really do love my oils, I just hate talking to people. Hey, again, this may not be the business for you. And that doesn't, I mean, I really love a lot of products, but I wouldn't sell them. Okay. So I think it's also realizing that you can change your mind, and that's okay. I know that, you know, maybe you're in a position in dōTERRA where you're like, I told somebody I was going to do this. I will tell you, I'm way more proud of the people who come up to me and say, hey, I know I said I was going to do this, but it's just like, this does not fit with me, with my lifestyle, with what I want to create. And I'm okay with that. I would rather you be honest with me than every month me look at, you know, what you've created and there's nothing there and think because I actually, as a leader, I internalize that. Like, okay, how am I not showing up properly for this specific person, right? So You know, and I'm not saying that introverts can't be wildly successful with doTERRA, because truly you can be. I promise you, I have tons of introverts on my team. One of my blue diamonds is a massive introvert. She's massively successful because her love for these products outweighs her anxiety of showing up for other people. Does that make sense? So you gotta get out there and network. If you're stuck, if you're like, I don't know who else to talk to, brain dump 100 different ways to network. This was a process, I guess, by my friend Dana Moore told me about it, but I think it's Elise Shedevy. But you want to just sit down with a piece of paper and like, what are 100 ways you can network with people? Whether it's taking your kids to the park, to the museum, volunteering in your kids' classroom, getting actively involved in a workout group or a workout class, going to your local library, volunteering somewhere, joining a running group, whatever it is. How can you actually genuinely meet people where they feel like, oh my gosh, I really like this person? Because it's once you build up that trust and that rapport with people, that's when they actually take your word for something, when you recommend something. It's very, very rare that I meet somebody and tell them like, oh yeah, we use these oils, and they turn around and purchase a kit for me like that. Most of the time, if I'm being honest with you guys, I have 103,000 people on my Instagram following me. And 9 times out of 10, those of you guys who decide to get started with me specifically, when we have our membership overviews, it's always, hey, I've been following you for like 6 months. I've been following you for a year. I've been following you for 3 months. It is not a like quick courting, so to speak, right? So you have to figure out how can you show up and be a part of your community and not be awkward and actually genuinely enjoy being around people, right? So networking, it's kind of a thing that you kind of got to do. Can't sit behind your computer. Although I will say, you know, social media is an incredible tool. It just takes so much longer. I'm telling you this right now. Social media in general is going to take you probably 10 times the amount of time versus getting out and actually connecting in with people. Okay. That's how I build my business. So I speak from a lot of experience in spending a lot of time on social media, educating, showing people how to do this. So, all right, that's how you're going to network. Hold on to your questions and I will go through them towards the end of this, I promise. Okay. So networking, what else? Presenting, teaching, one-on-ones. I will say I'm probably the most comfortable with sitting down with somebody one-on-one. I feel like that's a place where I can just sit and connect with them personally, their needs, their pain points, and I can just serve them specifically. I'm not trying to teach a general class. It's way more of a conversation than it is like a class. And that's my comfort level, honestly. So, you know, I've taught big classes, I've taught awesome classes, but I really, if I can sit down with you over coffee, that's my jam. And, you know, yeah, maybe it's working harder, not smarter, but I can close people so much easier because I'm speaking your language. I'm speaking your pain points. So learn how to master one-on-one if classes are not your thing. That's okay. You can do a ton of one-on-ones too, right? So, okay. Presenting to people, what else? Enrolling people. This is important. If you're not enrolling, if you're not actively enrolling people, you're not building a business. It's just the truth. I have a lot of people who are really, really committed to showing up to all of the things. They will show up to my trainings, they'll watch my lives, they'll go through my videos, they'll study all the things, but they have not enrolled anyone. And so you have to have the genuine passion to sit down with someone and to get them excited about what you're doing. That is why people enroll. That is why people get started, because whatever you got going on, they want a piece of that. They want that excitement. They want that empowerment. They want to feel the way you're feeling. And so again, this goes back to, are you using your products? Are you using your oils? Because I can speak with 100% conviction over my oil usage, over how I use oils on my kids, over how I've completely changed my skin, over how I've helped to feel super confident in my body with utilizing all my dōTERRA oils and products and supplements. And so when you're speaking from a place of passion and conviction, that's what draws people in. has nothing to do with, yeah, maybe some people care about, our co-impact sourcing and our humanitarian work. And obviously we're the #1 essential oil company in the world, but it's you. That's the secret sauce. Okay. So I'm going to hinge off of that. Last but not least is you need to know how to support your people. You can't just enroll them and be like, okay, good job. Good luck. It's going to be great. You need to support your people, which means you need to show up, whether it's on a Facebook Live or whether it's in your community, doing continuing education classes, doing fun make and takes. Make it a community that people are drawn into. Make it something that when they become a part of it, they become brand loyal, not only to doTERRA, but to you. They think, oh my gosh, I'm so lucky to be a part of this girl's team. So lucky to get all these added values because you've taken the first few steps first. And you don't have to have this massive team locally. You don't have to have a team website. You don't have to have any of the bells and whistles, but what you do have to have is to turn around and say, hey, I have gone first, and let me walk in my steps and let me guide you on how to utilize these. And if I don't know the answers, we can be resourceful together. Okay. So those are your fundamentals. Those will never, ever, ever change. Okay. All right. So what sets people apart? What sets people apart from being somebody who struggles at elite or premier or silver or gold and just cannot get that momentum moving forward? And I truly, truly feel like once you get the clarity of how you want to show up creatively within this space, that's when things start to click. And what I mean by creatively is we all have that inner intuition where it's like, hey, you should do this. You should go here. You should post this. When I first started doing Instagram, many of my up lines were like, oh, no. Like, we don't build on social media. You need to get out there and teach. And so for me, I thought, but I can teach and I can share, because I actually started this because I was teaching so much and enrolling people that I needed a place to send people to get what I taught them last night, okay? Because most people didn't take notes. So I followed the intuition of like, hey, just start posting on Instagram, okay? And we all have that though, even if it's not Instagram or social media. We all have that. Like, maybe you love yoga. Maybe it's your total jam. It's something that you love to show up in. It's something that you practice every day, and so it feels so authentic to you. If that is your thing, how does doTERRA fit into that? Okay, so like figure out what your creative genius is. What would you do with your day if you did not have to work, if you did not have to take care of kids or family, if you had, say, 6 hours in your day to do anything, and God willing, it's not take a nap or lay on my couch, but if you had time to do anything with your day, what would you choose to do? Now, by that choice, that's telling me what you find fun and what you find as a priority, okay? So you take that idea or that thing that you would go and do, and you figure out, how does doTERRA fit into this? How does doTERRA complement it? And who is the community that I can serve with doing this one thing and layering doTERRA onto it? Because that, my friends, is how you'll find your creative genius. That is how you will find your people who, when you're around them, you're like, oh my God, you just get me. Like, you get my passion, you get my obsession, you get my love. And so again, I'll go back to the yoga example just because it's easy and simple. But if you're doing yoga every single morning, well, maybe you create a weekly yoga workshop for beginners. How many new mamas out there would love to do a little stretching and decompressing? And so as you're teaching these very basic fundamentals to people, you're also layering in the fact that you use these 4 or 5 oils to help to support that yoga, that meditation, that inner clarity, okay? So this is where your creative wheels have got to start turning. This is where you will see a huge shift in your business if you allow yourself the permission to lean into things like this instead of just saying no and being told to just get out there and teach classes and teach classes and teach classes. Yeah, you do have to teach classes, and yeah, you do need to connect in with people, but if you do it in a way that lights you up, you will notice that the kind of people you're attracting are your people, and then it becomes so easy to want to show up for them because you love being there. You love showing them how to utilize their oils. You love getting creative with them. And then your creative genius just starts to take off because you're surrounded by people who are similar to you, okay? So when I look around the room, when I'm around all of my friends who are at higher ranks in doTERRA, that is the one thing that I see, is that we truly have all honed in on that creative genius. How do we specifically want to show up? And you guys, you want to know the best part? None of us do this the exact same way. None of us. And so that means that there's so much space, there's so much expansion for you to come into this with your creative genius and to rise up to the top, okay? So I hope you don't forget that. I hope you don't forget and you don't tell yourself that there's not enough space for you or you don't add enough value. Because we all have to start somewhere. We all have to take that first step. We all have stumbled. We all have had, awful workshops. We all have had those workshops where you leave and you're like, tears in your eyes because you're like, how do I get paid for this? This is the best job in the world, right? And so remember why you're here. Remember that, yes, our oils are incredible. Yes, our compensation plan is incredible. Yes, we've partnered with the best company in the whole entire world. I don't truly know another company that has the heart that doTERRA has, and I'm so grateful to be a part of that, okay? But at the end of the day, you've also decided to plug yourself into becoming the best version of you that this world needs and surrounding yourself with really good people in your life, and that's a choice, okay? So, anywho, that's what I got for you guys. Do you guys have any questions? I'll stay on for about 5 more minutes if you guys have questions. Kristen asks, how do I get the blurry background? I don't know, Kristen. It just goes blurry. I have no clue. Every once in a while it goes blurry. Yeah. So it's just, you guys, we do the best work. And sometimes it's so easy to forget the perspective. Like, I drive by my old office every single day almost, and I look over there and I'm like, oh God, I'm so grateful. I'm just grateful that I get to be surrounded with people like you guys who care, right? Okay, let me scroll up. Oh, you're seeing 111 yeses. Those are angel numbers. Okay, what rank were you at when you quit your job? I was solid diamond, organic solid diamond. We hit diamond in March, and I quit my job in September. We never fell back in rank, but I actually had told my husband that I wanted to make sure that my income was at least $10,000 a month before I quit my job. You guys want to know something cool? When I went in to quit my job, we had just gotten our monthly checks, and mine was like $10,117 or something like that. It was literally a God sign. Like, trust yourself. Trust that you can do this. Now, I will say, I didn't quit my job until I was solid diamond because I don't like financial pressure. So you have to know yourself. Some people, the time freedom with a little financial pressure actually like hinges them into action and will force them to do more. For me, it literally panics me. So I was like, I can balance both. I got very little sleep for those 18 months, but I was good with that because I wanted to keep doTERRA as my side passion. I didn't ever want it to be something where I didn't want to be that upline that like puts pressure on people of like, oh, you have to perform at this level, you have to do it at this level, or pressure on myself. And so that's why for me and my family, that felt like a good benchmarker to walk away from a corporate job I had been at for almost 6 years. So I think you really need to know yourself when you're ready to walk away. And it also, it wasn't necessarily the money thing. It was, but it wasn't. It was also the camaraderie of not having coworkers around me. Like, would I be okay sitting in my office at home by myself all day because I love being around people. That's why network marketing is such a good fit for me. Like, I put me in a room of people and we will all be buddies by the end of the day, you know? So I think that you also need to know if you're going to be okay. And there is a shift when people do quit their jobs of now you actually have to put effort into having conversations with people because the networking comes so natural when you're around coworkers all the time. So I just, those were the things that went through my mind as I was quitting my job. And you know what's interesting is I walked out of that building and I just felt like this huge pressure off my shoulders and just kept hearing like, this is exactly where you're meant to be. Just trust me. And so I think that there is a level of a leap of faith of knowing that like, this is the work I was born to do. There's not a single aspect of doTERRA that I don't like. And that's pretty incredible because there's a lot of people who are very miserable in their jobs and dream of having a life like this. So anywho, let's see here. It's the focus setting. Oh, for the blur. I didn't touch anything though, Lindsay. That's what's weird. I just clicked on go live. I have no clue. Anyways, I digress. I hugged you in Utah at the gala. I was with my newborn. Oh, yeah, I remember. How did you get started sharing the business? The same way I do now. I actually, when I first got started, my enroller is one of my childhood friends, and she kept asking me like the first week or two that I had my oils, like, hey, do you want to do this as a business? And I was like, no. I am not doing network marketing. I went to college. I have my college degree. I manage a finance company. Like, I'm very fine without doing network marketing. I was kind of a brat, to be honest. But thank God for her because I kept texting her like, hey, my mom has this. Would this work? My friend has this. Would this work? My friend, used this oil. How do I help her get it in her house? And so she was just so patient with me. She didn't push me. And for my personality, that's exactly what I needed, is somebody to just allow me the space to expand of like, oh, I know I'm saying I don't want to do this, but I'm actually already doing it, So anyways, about 3 weeks after having my oils, I saw them work day after day after day. I carried them with me everywhere, and I just put a class on the books. I watched a lot of YouTube videos of how to teach a class and typed up my own script and just invited friends over. Like, hey, you guys need these. And keep in mind, I had been using my oils. They had been using my oils. And so I'm like, hey, let's come over and let's learn more together. And so it was a hot mess, guys. My first classes were not this polished. Were not easy flowing. I stumbled over words. I didn't even really know the structure. It was not great. It was not great. But that being said, I was willing to try. And I knew that oils were going to help people, so I didn't really care how clean and polished my presentation was. So, and then with my builders, every single person I've enrolled, I always ask them the same question. If you want to get your oils paid for, let me know. I can show you how to do what I do. What I do is not hard, actually. It's actually very simple, and it's very service focused, and so I feel like it actually speaks to a lot more people than most people give other people credit for. But the problem is most people don't ask the question. So if you're sitting there thinking, I have no builders, I have nobody who wants to do this as a business with me, how often are you talking about the business? That's really important. I hope you guys know that it is very important to understand the extent that you have this conversation. Just throw it out on the table. They can react whatever way they want. But if people don't even know that this is an option, there's so many diamond blues and presidentials who got started just because we wanted to use oils, not because we wanted to pursue a business. So I think prejudging anyone as far as what you think they would want to do is a big misstep. And I also think just ask them. I feel like co-teaching classes is probably one of the easiest ways too to help somebody get started. It's hey, I'll come over, we can teach your friends and family. 4 of my 6 qualifiers are here in Reno. And so that's all we did. We co-taught classes all the time, and we made it super fun. So hopefully that helps. How many on-guard beadlets can I give to my 2.5-year-old son? We give our 3-year-old. Scarlett will take them. She's 2.5. Probably 2. I don't know. Don't hold me to a cross for that. If you don't want to give your kids oils internally, do you, boo. But our kids, especially when our kids started school back up, they got 2 to 3. They're a 1/4 of a drop, so they're a teeny, teeny, tiny amount. But we do give them to our 2-year-old, our 4-year-old, and our 6-year-old for sure. Actually, our 6-year-old will take the On Guard Plus pills too, which is awesome. Did you make just one script in the beginning when you first started teaching? Yeah, I just typed it up. Word doc. Real fancy. Single space, probably 10 pages. It was so long. Do I still need to know all the research before starting to sell? No, please don't. I don't. I'm a presidential diamond. I don't know all the things. You never will. You will sit in a paralysis and you won't move forward. All you have to know, to be honest with you guys, all you have to know in this business is the basics, because anything beyond that, people are going to get fire hosed and they're going to be like, oh, I can't do that. This is way too much. Unless you're doing a specific class, maybe on like stress and anxiety or sleep or energy or whatever. But truly, just teach someone the very basics about what you know with the top 10 oils or your top oils, and let them explore from there. Because I'll tell you what, my first class, I probably walked away with like 2 or 3 facts and the fact that I knew I needed these oils. And that was it. And I was good with that. So don't overwhelm yourself either. Okay. Let's see here. I'm teaching classes out of my home and I'm over it. 4 kids, life happening isn't good for classes. I can't use libraries and our something. Oh, community centers out. Other ideas. Depends on where you live. Parks, coffee shops, restaurants. Where else have we taught classes? Somebody else's house. You know what is actually a really good idea? Do you have a apartment complex near you? Sometimes they have like community centers in the apartment complex, especially some of the nicer ones. You could walk in there, see if you could utilize that. We have done community centers, but if that's out, we have done libraries. If you have kids, you could ask about, their school. You could ask about a classroom. Shit, you can even just hang out outside on a bench. So, I almost dropped that. That would have been bad. I think that figure out where you're hanging out and figure out if you want to go into business and you want to teach a class. Like if I were to go into a gym and teach a class, I would go in and talk to the gym owner about how I go around the community and I teach wellness classes all about essential oils and how it would add value to her clients, and I would do it for free is how I would phrase that. So that's another option. You go into any type of business and talk to them about how you coming in and teaching a free wellness class would add value. Chiropractors' offices is also good for this. So yeah, a lot of it is thinking outside of just, your at-home class, and I get it. Like I don't teach classes in my home because my kids are all over the place. So I totally get it. How do you support builders when you haven't done it before? I struggle with getting my builders have literally grown to premier. I struggle with getting builders have grown to premier by myself. It's been exhausting. So listen, this is the thing is, you don't all of a sudden wake up in this business and have builders like knocking on your door saying like, I want to do this. If you guys knew the amount of builders that I have had quit on me, you would wonder how I'm still here. Because this is the thing is people change their mind. Some people come in and they try this out and they enroll a handful of people and then they get distracted and it's not their thing. My 6 builders now, my 6 qualifiers that I currently have, I actually have a 7th leg too. These 7 women are out of 9, probably out of, I've enrolled over 900 people into dōTERRA in 5.5 years, keep in mind. But out of those 900 people, I probably have about 25 to 30 builders, like women who are getting out, teaching classes, enrolling people, building the business because they want to enroll, they want to build the business for them, not because any incentive that I'm doing, right? And so I think we have this thought in our mind that like, oh, I just need to find a builder, and you will find a builder if what you're doing is inspirational. That's the key. You have to be showing up in a way where people, A, want to be around you. They want to follow your lead. They're excited to follow your lead. And so if you none of us who have found success in this had somebody say, here's the business plan to get to Presidential Diamond. That doesn't exist. But what does exist is the vision that there are people out there on their knees praying for a way to heal themselves, to take care of themselves, to take care of their kids. There's also people out there praying for a way to financially bless themselves. And whether that is $200 to fill up their gas tank for the month, or $500 to buy organic groceries, or $1,500 to pay their mortgage payment to take some of the pressure, or I can't tell you how many stay-at-home moms I have who are just like, I need an identity outside of being a stay-at-home mom. And so for me, the conviction of what I do comes from knowing that those people are out there, and if I play small and I don't show up, that I'm letting them down. And so that's where my vision and my passion comes from. And I think that is, why do you follow me? Why are you here? You know, like you have to look around, and you have to look at, who are you actually following? Who, why do they inspire you? How can you mimic that in your business? Because that's where, yes, I did ask people, hey, if you want to get your oils paid for, I can show you what I'm doing, but they've been watching what I've been doing. It's not just, I'm not sitting in my house just saying like, I'm waiting for someone to teach a class with me. I'm out there teaching classes with or without you. Sorry for your bad luck. If you don't want to join me, that's sad for you, And so I think that it also, you have to understand that you're going to have people quit on you all the time. And if you don't create that thick skin in this business, if you look at, if you're a premier and you have 2 legs and you don't have any builders, and you look at that as a reflection of your success, and you let that sabotage your business, then you're allowing doubt and fear to win. You really are. Because let me just give you a hypothetical. What would happen if all of a sudden tomorrow you ran into a Keely Martinez, an Ange Peters, a Haley Hobson, whoever your top leader, dream leader is? But because you're sitting there in this energy of like, I don't have any leaders, I'm getting so sick of this, this isn't working, you miss that opportunity. You know that there was no special conversation with any of us top leaders. Any leader, really. Most of it was just somebody holding space for them and saying, hey, try these oils. They're willing to consistently show up for people. And so how consistent are you showing up for people? And again, this goes back to, are you working in your creative genius? Because if you're frustrated and you're exhausted, you're not. I will tell you that. You are not working in your joy. And so you have to go back to that. Why are you here? Why did you start this? Why has this been placed on your heart? Because I will tell you, it hasn't been placed on your heart for a mistake. You're here for a purpose. You're here for a reason. We have the best oils in the whole entire world that help people heal in a world that is so overly medicated and struggling to keep their head up. And you have an opportunity to help people. So I think it really comes down to perspective of like, we get to do this work versus I can't find builders. I can't do this. I'm exhausted with trying to do this on my own. I have platinum and diamond leaders who built a ton of their business on their own. I built a ton of my business on my own, but it's not because I don't look at that and think, oh, well, you don't deserve that rank because I've helped you get there. I look at that and I'm grateful that I'm able to connect people. I'm able to still do this work and help other people on my team to financially find freedom as well. And so I hope you don't take this the wrong way, but you've got to tap back into, why are you here? Why do you love doing this work? It's really, really important. Okay. All right. Moving on. Are we liking this? I think I've gone way over my 5 minutes. How do you support oh, nope, I just read yours. How do you get most of your contacts? Where would you go? A lot of my contacts were my friends, and then they enrolled, and I would ask them, do you have any friends who need oils? Anyone who you think I could chat with? Asking for referrals is an art, and it's also something that's massively underutilized. If you have people underneath your team and you have not asked for referrals, you have not asked them to, if they know anyone who could benefit from natural wellness, you're missing a huge opportunity, okay? So there's that. And then for me personally, social media. I mean, I show up for you guys. I show up every day. Most of you guys know me, know my family, know my kids. You know a lot more about me than I know about you. So I think that it's that consistency of showing up where I try to just add value. I mean, I hope that you enroll with me. I hope that you watch my videos, and if you've been sitting on the fence, that the minute you're ready to get started with doTERRA, you automatically think, oh, I need to reach out to Keely. But if not, I can tell you, out of these 103,000 people, not probably 80% of you guys are enrolled on other teams, and I'm okay with that. You know, it's because I like it. I like showing up for you guys in this way. And so my contacts, a lot of them do come from social media, which is a huge blessing, but it's also a shit ton of work. And yeah, so, but in your community, it's just a matter of having those conversations and asking for referrals and inviting people to your next workshop and making it so that way when you say, hey, come to my rest and relaxation workshop, that they're like, oh shit, yeah, I'm in. Sign me up, okay? Are virtual classes still effective? Yes, if you invite in the right way. I feel like social media in general has definitely shifted. But I think if you invite people in the right way and you add value in the right way, that, yeah, they can totally still be effective. And if you just can't get out of your house, like, I get it. If you have a newborn baby, if you're, in a very rural area, then you got to do what you got to do, but you got to figure out how to actually get people there. And so a lot of that is, creating enough forward value where when you have your class scheduled, they're like, no, that's on my calendar. Like, I have to sit and watch her because I really want to learn about this specific item. So maybe you tailor it more towards specifics than just like a general one-on-one class. Okay. Just little ideas. How long are you at doTERRA? How long have I been with doTERRA? 5.5 years. Let's see here. I feel hesitant to sell because I had a horrible experience with Young Living sellers and oils. I use doTERRA now, but I don't know. I feel that doubt and resistance to selling. You don't have to sell. Welcome to doTERRA. We put zero pressure on you. You guys, Young Living is so different than doTERRA. I've been racking my brain as to how do I share this, the contrast between the two companies without sounding like a complete brat. But the bottom line is the companies are night and day. Truly night and day. The executive owners are night and day difference. The values, the integrity, the morals, night and day. The oils, night and day. I will tell you, actually, the first time I have ever experienced smelling a Young Living oil, I was at the Grand Hotel in Utah. I got a massage there. Actually, I got 2 massages there during convention week, and they had Young Living oils, which was a little bit surprising to me, but I think the head esthetician over there is a Young Living rep, and they had their copaiba oil sitting out, and I took the lid off and smelled it, and immediately was like, this is not copaiba. It's just not. And so, and I'm not here to bash on any other company, but the cultures are very, very different. So depending on who you enrolled with, reach out to them. This is the thing, is we share doTERRA because we know how much it can help people, how much it can heal people. We don't share because we have certain quotas to hit. We don't share because, any other reason other than we want to help people. We want to show people what true essential oils can do for you. And so often I'll have people who've used other brands of essential oils, Young Living included, and they'll have underwhelming results. And then I'll send them out some oils, or they'll purchase a basic starter kit and they'll try doTERRA oils and they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, this is what I've been missing. And so I'll figure out a nice way to put this into like some stories or something, so that way you guys can share it. I never want to get into like a he said, she said type of thing. Just know that our oils are truly the only pure essential oils on the market. And we've put over $100 million into that model, and no other company can hold a flame to that. And so their marketing spins it very creatively to make it sound like their oils even compare to ours, but they don't. So that's my 2 cents. But I think you just lean into it. I think that if the opportunity presents itself for you to help somebody with oils, that is a sign from your higher power saying this is what you're meant to do. So maybe you just tune into that for the next week. Let's see here. I wish I was located near someone in my upline. I'm not near a single person, even an 8-hour drive. I'm not near my upline either, guys. She's in Utah. I'm in Nevada. You're going to be just fine. You just got to put your big girl panties on and teach your first class. I mean, believe me, the co-teaching is cool, but I also have a huge team in Australia who's massively successful, and I've never been there. So like, yeah, it would be nice, but you don't need it. And it actually is a huge opportunity for you to grow into the leader that you need to be. I think it was the biggest indirect blessing, to be honest, for me. Let's see here. How do you start training buildings? I'm assuming that means builders. I personally created a business training called The Fundamentals, and you can purchase it if you want. I'm actually switching it to a different website, and I'm raising the price. So that's going to happen probably the end of this week. It's currently $97 and it's massively underpriced. So it's going to change to $297. So if you want to get it and you want it on the Facebook model, go over and grab it now. But it will change to a Kajabi website. So, and the pricing will go up, and it has 12 modules, an hour-long training with me for each one, a workbook for each one. It literally outlines the full basics of what I've done to create the success I have within doTERRA. And it'll walk you through a lot of those. And it's the basics, it's the fundamentals. It's, let's go through from step 1 to step 12. So if that's something that interests you, you're more than welcome to head over there and grab that. Struggle with staying consistent with online presence. How do you do it? OneDropDesigns.com. You guys, I created it because I get it. I get that coming up with content and photos and graphics and all the pretty little things, like you have to stay consistent, but sometimes the creative juices just aren't flowing. So One Drop Designs is a subscription-based website that myself and my business partner Brad Jones made, and he's the mastermind behind the website itself. And we have over 100 contributors, so other wellness advocates who contribute to it, who are graphic designers, photographers, all the things. But go over there. Literally, you guys, the subscription is less than $20 a month. And if you knew the time it took to create this content, I mean, $20, you go and teach one-on-one and enroll one person with the smallest kit, you've paid for your subscription, okay? And it's a business write-off. And we have a discount code going right now. If you just type in together19 until the end of September, you can get it 10% off, which basically gives you a month for free if you do the annual subscription. So that's how I stay consistent. One drop. And also just what am I feeling inspired towards? What do I want to share with people? What do I feel like you guys need? And sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I'll put up stories and ask you guys, and I'll get some inspiration from that. Sometimes I just get on here and chat like this, and we end up hanging out for an hour. And apparently you guys don't mind, because there's over 100 of you guys hanging out with me. So I think a lot of it too is like oil usage. What am I doing in my life? What is making an impact on my life? I mean, I've been super focused on my diet and my workout routine and supplementing my body lately, and I'm finally seeing some results. Like literally after 16 months of going to Pure Barre classes and working out and all that stuff. And so what's relevant in your life? When you speak about what's relevant, then it feels organic and it feels authentic, and like just pop into OneDrop, grab a graphic, and you can type up your content underneath that. All right, I'm going to stay on for 10 more minutes. If you guys want to keep hanging out with me, any advice on how to place people once you start enrollment and start enrolling? Placement seems to be difficult, especially if you don't have any builders. So yeah, I mean, it depends on how many people you enroll. And I talk about this in the fundamentals. I dive like super deep into placements and structure and strategy. But I'll give you the Cliff Note version. So if you are enrolling, I would say 2 to 5 people a month, and you don't have any builders, what I would say is structure out for your Power 3, your $50 Power 3, because this is the thing. You want to start getting your oils paid for, okay? So I do a very fine balance of Power 3 and of structuring you for your rank. So 3 to 5 people, I would enroll one person as what we call a ghost leg. So say your mom, for instance, I would enroll her as a wellness advocate and put her on my front line. And you can even enroll her with just a $35 membership. Ideally, it'd be nice if she ordered, but put her on my front line. And then I would have, out of those 5 customers, I would see who's going to get onto our loyalty rewards program and who's going to consistently order. And I would keep at least 3 of them on my front line to build out my Power 3. And then the other 2 I would sponsor underneath my mom. So eventually they'll get on LRP. Some people, it just takes them a few months, right? But I would keep kind of structuring downwards, right? So that's if you're enrolling only a handful of people in a month. If you are enrolling 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 people in a month, which I have leaders who do that, then we want to immediately start structuring you for your leadership rank. So you want to have 2 legs as a premier, because as a premier, you'll start to get our empowerment bonus, which is like $200 every month. Okay. So again, I would still leave a few buffer people on your front line to have your $50 Power 3. And then I would start building downwards. And obviously this is the odds game too, right? Like the more people you enroll, the more odds you have to have the conversation around, hey, do you want to do this as a business? Would you like to start teaching classes? Would you like to get your oils paid for? We have the most incredible business opportunity. I don't know if you know that or not. This is something that oftentimes, especially if you've been at a certain rank for a while, you can get a little bit like desensitized to how incredible our compensation plan is. I remember first getting my first few checks and thinking like, wow, I can make money doing this. This is pretty cool, right? Like I all of a sudden could pay for our groceries with my dōTERRA money. I all of a sudden could pay for a truck payment for my husband with my dōTERRA money. And so, I think that understanding the fact that like you get to offer that to people is really powerful. You can offer for somebody to figure out a side hustle where they don't have to, they invest their 100 PV order every month, right? So I have a lot of conviction around the business, obviously, but if you're enrolling a lot more people, then you want to start looking at structuring for Premier or possibly Silver. So you just don't want to build a whole organization off ghost legs. That can exhaust people really quickly. So I would actually just focus on having that one leg. And then anyone who you enroll and you put underneath that leg, you can tell them, if they're on the front line of that ghost leg, you can tell them, if you ever want to start sharing these oils or doing this as a business, teaching classes with me, I actually have an opportunity right above you that if you're ready to teach a class, then we can talk further about that. But you can actually transfer somebody. So like, say I was sitting right below you, and this is a ghost leg, and I'm like, hey, I want to start teaching classes. You can actually submit a transfer form. I would have to upgrade and enroll at least one person with 100 PV, and then I can actually transfer into that ghost leg position. But now I have the volume underneath me focused, so now you have an actual builder with a team underneath them. I hope that makes sense. I know it's a little confusing when you're explaining it, but hopefully that helps. But I would focus on Power 3 too. This is so awesome. Thank you so much for your wisdom and time. Oh, you guys are welcome. I get so nervous about doing videos. Don't know if I could ever do a live. Guys, do you want to know? I should have saved it. I actually deleted it because I was embarrassed, if I'm being honest. My first live was on Periscope back in like 1992. But literally, I remember sitting at my dining room table. This was before I had this office or anything. But I was sitting at my dining room table and I had my Essential Life book on my table, and I literally propped my phone up this way. So if you're familiar with angles, this is probably the worst angle that you could take a video of yourself. And every other word was I was sweating, I was nervous, I like stammered over my words. It was not this great lighting tripod that you're seeing today. But just like your first class, like you gotta rip off the Band-Aid and just show up. And this is the thing, you'll either love it or you'll be like, good Lord, that's a form of torture. See, and I like, there's a part of me that, yeah, it was torturous, but I was like, oh, I'm gonna get better at that. So that's just how my personality is. I try something, and if I'm not great at it, I keep working and working and working to figure out how to be great at it. Okay. Okay. I think that might be it. Watching from France. Hello in France. How do you know when it is time to leave your corporate job? I feel it drains my energy at the end of the day. If you guys knew the amount of bitching and complaining that I did with my upline, my leaders, my husband, when I was at my corporate job, I would like sit at my desk and just dream of the day that I could just be doing dōTERRA, and that's it. And again, I think it comes down to knowing yourself. You have to know, if you walk away from that, are you going to take action and thrive? Are you going to take that time and actually dive deep into your business and travel and teach and connect with your team and do all the things? Or are you all of a sudden going to be like, oh shit, now we don't have that income, and you're going to panic? Okay. So I knew, because financially we had gotten to a point with dōTERRA that I was very comfortable with leaving my job. And I also hated my job. So, what do you suggest people try and use their oils on their first try with their first kit? Depends on what their kit is. Depends on what their needs are. There's not necessarily like a general overview of do this, try this. I mean, On Guard up and down the spine with coconut oil, frankincense under your tongue, balance on your feet, lavender on your pillow, breathe over your chest before a run, digestion on your belly before a big meal. I mean, there's so many uses, but if I know your pain point, then that's what I'm going to recommend for sure. Where will the fundamentals be posted? The fundamentals is just on Facebook right now. So yeah, lots of you guys love the fundamentals. Fundamentals is amazing, totally worth it. The fundamentals has been so helpful. I purchased the fundamentals training and loved it. I am keeping it up on Facebook. It'll just be archived, so you can't comment or anything, but you'll still be able to see everything that's on there. Do you have one-drop materials in Spanish? We do, and we're actually going to launch something pretty fun for anyone who may want to be a translator. So hold tight. Hold tight, hold tight. I love and appreciate your tips and do-it-yourself options. When will we start your monthly mentoring, please? You guys want to know something funny? Okay, it's just between us girls, maybe a few guys. So after the fundamentals ended, I'm like, there's something that's so exciting about being a part of a group, right? A training. Like, this is how I feel when I go to leadership or when I go to Tony Robbins. Like, you're just in the fire, and so you're just like feeling good, you're feeling the energy, and then when it ends, you're like, the fuck? Like, you just go back to your routine. And it's not that you don't want to implement all the things, it's just that sometimes you just need to be plugged in still, and you just need that extra little dose of, you can do this. Don't forget all of these amazing things that you have at your fingertips, and that little bit of accountability, right? And so I was like, okay, I'm going to create a monthly mentoring like group that's a subscription, that because I have so many of you guys who are not on my team, I want to create it for my own team. But I have so many of you guys who are not on my team that I'm like, okay, if you want mentoring, if you want to hang out with me like this every week, I'll create a mentoring program. But energetically, I've been like fearful. If I'm being honest, like, oh, am I going to add enough value? Is it going to be worth it? And so I've been stuck in this limbo of like, I know I need to show up for you guys. I know that I will deliver the heat. It's just like it's literally ready to go. You guys would die if you saw behind the scenes. It's ready to go. Same with the fundamentals on Kajabi. There's just like, I got to do some releasing with it and just be open to just accepting the people who want to come in there with me and knowing that together we'll deliver. We'll create some incredible things within your doTERRA business. And I need a space where I can show up for you guys and answer questions, because this is great, but I can't necessarily like sit down one-on-one and, you know, you ask your specific question. And so that's the way that I like to serve. So I will promise you guys right now, by the end of this month, it'll be up. We'll get it rolling October 1. I promise. Okay? All right. I want to watch this. This will be on my stories. It might be, I might need to cut it off. I'll try to get this uploaded to my IGTV for you guys. So just wondering if you are using your phone for the most part, any tips and tricks regarding to making it easy to post daily. I use my phone for all the things. So, let's see here. Okay. Love OneDrop. Was it hard at convention getting recognized and having so many wellness advocates trying to grab your attention? You know, it's a little overwhelming. I don't think I realize the impact that I make on this community. I truly like, whatever, there's 100 of you guys hanging out with me right now. It is what it is. But after 24 hours, these videos get watched by like thousands. And so when I'm at an event, and I appreciate you guys coming up to me so much, like it actually is something that after convention, I'm like, oh, that's why I show up. That's why I need to show up, because there's so many of you guys who came up to me who said, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for your fundamentals, if it wasn't for, you know, you making it easier with OneDrop, if it wasn't for you doing your lives, if it wasn't for you showing up. And I think that sometimes we overlook how much we impact other people's lives. And this isn't just for me, but this is for you too, is you may think that you're just teaching oil classes. You may think that you're just showing people how to live the lifestyle that you're living, but what you're really doing is you're completely hinging people's lives. You're showing them that there's an easier way to live their life. You're showing them that there's a natural way to live their life. You're shifting the way that their children are taking care of themselves. You shift so much by making that one decision to show up. And so those reminders for me at convention, where you guys come up and say hi and take a picture and thank me for what I do for you, I just want to turn around and say thank you. Truly. Thank you for showing up for me. Thank you for reminding me why I'm here. It really is the coolest community. So anyways, now I'm getting misty-eyed, but I love you guys. I appreciate you so much. I will get this uploaded to my IGTV, and we'll hang out. We'll hang out at least one more time before the end of the month. I'll pop back in here. Maybe we do. What is today? Monday? Maybe next Monday. Should we do this again next Monday? The 30th, the end of the month. Let's do it again next Monday. Okay, guys? All right. I love you guys. We'll chat later.